So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. A few weeks ago, I purchased myself a copy of this 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. I don't really know why I kind of bought it. Maybe I was kind of going through like a phase. I just saw it on like a shelf in a shop. I didn't really buy it because I thought I needed it per se. I think I bought it because I was like, okay, maybe I like Jordan Peterson a little bit after all. Maybe I want to like figure out what his like general game is, what his whole like intellectual shtick is better than I can just by watching his videos that he puts out onto the YouTube and so on. Which is like the first reason why you shouldn't buy this book, so because it is just basically all of his YouTube content rehashed and put into book form. Like I despise the sycophancy of some of the comments on the back. Like, brilliant, the truth can set you free, Sunday Times. Genuinely extraordinary, unmatched by any other modern thinker. A prophet for our times, Dominic Sandbrook, Daily Mail. Like, he is matched by other thinkers. He's matched by a lot of other like there's the guy who Mark Manson or Maron, is it, who wrote that he's got a really good YouTube channel actually, who wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I think that's a self-help title that's actually eclipsed Jordan Peterson, like the most influential public intellectual in the Western world right now. Well, he is, I suppose, but like masterful, like it's not really masterful. Like the writing in it is peculiar, I have to say. Like he has a highly idiosyncratic style of writing, and that's something I find quite jarring when it comes to this little offering here. And like he does talk about how it's all this sort of Nietzsche, Alexander Solzhenitsyn and stuff, the thinkers that he likes, that he sort of like clustered upon, or clustered around. He thinks like, all like the greatest messages to be found in like Nietzsche, Dostoevsky, and all these sorts of people, and like how like young men, disenfranchised yet entitled young men in the West should stop bitching and moaning about their lives because, well, as we know, they could have endured the horrors that Alexander Solzhenitsyn had to endure in a Soviet gulag in the 1930s under Joseph Stalin, and all that sort of thing. And you think you're living under true oppression now. You've never experienced true oppression, young man. And like all this stuff, like who is Jordan Peterson today? He is an up jump opportunist, nothing more. Like you've seen this like culture war in society, this clash of culture, this war between the sexes. Let's face it, has really been going on forever, and this kind of this retaliation or like backlash or reactionary fervor against PC culture, and kind of yet another generation of young men in times of austerity have been dredged up into this swathe of hatred, and like time of austerity, no one's getting laid, etc., etc., etc. Everyone's pointing the finger everywhere at who's to blame for this, and it's never like banks, Bernie Madoff, these sorts of people, Wall Street types, or it's never the government for Ronald Reagan and Thatcher for deregulating financial markets in the 1980s that ultimately led to the 2008 financial crisis. It's nothing like that at all. Like it's just the fact that like really the truth of it is that there's nothing wrong with you per se, and there's nothing really wrong with most young men. Also, the bitter truth of it is that women can't, in times of austerity, reliably find partners that can provide them with financial security. So they're not likely to sleep with you. That's all. And like, if women don't want to sleep with you, well, the thing is, you've got to find something better to do with your time than trying to sleep with women. Or you better find a way to get rich. Or you better find a way to get financial security. And that's really all there is to it. And you don't need to read a fucking... And I'm just wondering, like, who the hell is buying this shite? Like, who the hell, like, is it young men themselves? I don't think it is. I think it's a kind of a middle-aged market for self-help that's already existed out there, that he's managed to flog a lot of books to those people instead, or like middle-aged people trying to turn their lives around, people having midlife crises. That's who's buying these books. Young men don't buy this shit, like, typically, I don't think. Mostly they play video games, or we play video games, or watch things on the internet, or wank, or do whatever it is that we do. Largely those things, let's face it. Or we have a social lives, or for that matter, we work, or we have girlfriends, and it's not a problem for us. I'm just thinking, like, when it comes down to the point of what this book, the point of this book is to make money for Jordan Peterson. That's the real point of it. And when everyone was like losing their shit about the sorts of things that Jordan Peterson was saying about the Bill C-16 back in Canada in 2016, and so he like a rat up a drain pipe, snuck in there straight away on a soapbox or whatever it is, standing up, like talking gibberish about this new and relatively innocuous piece of legislation, and then this legal expert like came out from the same university, or not from the same university, but I think not actually from the same university, it was from the University of Toronto, wasn't it? She came out, she's a legal expert in this area of law that Jordan Peterson was talking smack about, and she told everyone, like, don't worry, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And like, to be honest, like, as a psychologist, like, he ventures into a lot of arenas where he doesn't really know what he's talking about as well. Like, he'll venture into history, saying things like, oh, in World War II, you'd have been a Nazi. It's like, no, not necessarily at all. Only 10% of the German population were members of the Nazi Party. Like, a huge number, about roughly half the population of Germany, as I understand it, did not support the Nazis. By no stretch of the imagination were all of the German people. That's incredibly offensive, is it not, by the way, also? To try and, like, assert that there was unilateral or unanimous support for the Nazi regime and the Holocaust in Germany at the time. That's kind of racist towards the Germans, isn't it? Towards the German people. Yet by no means did Hitler enjoy unilateral support among his own people, I don't think. I think like a very large number of people did support the Nazis. However, I think a lot of people were just cowed, intimidated, scared, right? Of the death squads and the Gestapo and so on. Like, anyone would be really under totalitarian regime like that. To say like you would have been a Nazi, like you are a glib. You don't know your history, man. Jesus. Or like other things like saying like, be a monster. You should not be harmless. Like, you should not be harmless if you want to get laid. Like, that's the advice, isn't it? Like, it's like people with a kind of a tough guy persona or a bad boy persona. Like, yeah, it works effectively to get laid with large numbers of women, it seems. That's what the psychology seems to indicate. That's what the psychology research actually on the subject seems to indicate. But at the expense of like the terrible things that could go wrong in your lives and the lives of other people, like, should you get laid? Like, no. Also, as I mentioned before, like, there are many very good reasons for not getting laid. I haven't been laid very much in the past 10 years. I don't really mind admitting to that, because guess what I've managed to avoid in the past 10 years also? Children. That's a very, very good reason for not getting laid. I've not procreated, and I don't plan on procreating anytime soon. And like, when it comes down to it, also, the times I have been laid, I haven't actually enjoyed it all that much, really. I think sex is highly overrated, in my opinion. And yeah, I just get this thing, like, the sorts of people. Oh, by the way, there's nothing that disturbs me more than having to listen to someone like talk about how much of a player they are. I can't fucking stand that, and it just smacks. Like, firstly, like, the first thing I suspect about someone who talks like that as a man is like, firstly, like, you're lying. Secondly, you're a creep. Thirdly, you're probably lying. Fourthly, like, I don't want to listen to you talk about your sex life at all. I don't want to imagine you having sex. I don't want to think about anything connected to your sex life. How about that? I mean, like, was you just envious? Like, no, honestly, not really. Like, yeah, what these people, like, what the likes of Jordan Peterson, they have no clue how to offer young men in terms of advice, how to find love, how to how to find yourself in a loving relationship, and how to maintain a loving relationship. It's not a peep out of Jordan Peterson in any of his rules for life on that topic at all, I don't think. But I mean, some of the rules may lead into sustaining healthy relationships, I suppose. Like being truthful, I suppose. Some of the rules are just, some of the rules might be, like, frankly dangerous things to say to anyone, but some of them are just glib and sort of a bit, like, not very insightful stock advice, like make friends with people who want the best for you. Like, doesn't actually need to be said, I don't think. Like, if you're the sort of person who's gonna, like, be conscientious and take care of yourself and other people, then you're likely to find friends who, like, want the best for you, I think. And, like, if you're the sort of person who will form toxic relationships with people who don't want the best for you, then you're that person. I don't think there's much a book like this is gonna. I don't think the sort of person who would make friends with people who don't want the best for them is the sort of person who's gonna read this fucking book, or any book, frankly. Treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Like, don't we do that anyway? Doesn't everyone do that? Like, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Why? Why? Like, how about be authentic and don't go around, like, literally posturing in society, and because you'll get found out very quickly. So, like, and that's a huge turn off for people. Don't do that at all. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. I do that anyway, and I think everyone probably should do that, in fairness, because who doesn't like that? Like, encountering a nice sweet little kitty cat, like petting a nice cat. Lovely. Great experience. I love petting cats. Do not bother children when they're skateboarding. Is that like, oh, what's the phrase? Don't let sleeping dogs lie, almost, isn't it? Or like, don't worry something when there's something. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Like, why would you anyway? Are you a pedo? Is that it? Be precise in your speech. No. Well, actually, that's quite good advice, in fairness. Yeah, you should be precise in your speech. You should be clear in your speech and writing, I think, and get to the point quickly. Assume the person you are listening to might know something you don't. I do that anyway, and I think, like, everyone who's intelligent does that. And that's another one. I don't think you're going to be able to teach a person who isn't clever that. Yeah, like, always assume that you don't know everything you're talking about. Like, that is the principal marker of intelligence, in my opinion, is, like, the assumption of one's own stupidity. You must assume that if you want to be, you must assume you're ignorant, stupid, or limited, at least. Yeah, that's it. Like, clever people do not think that we're smart. Well, we don't think we're smart. I don't think I'm smart at all. I do it fleetingly, but I mean, yeah, I've been told I'm clever. I have my IQ measured 127, so I'm above average on that metric, I think. That's what the evidence seems to suggest anyway. I listen to that because I pride myself a little bit on being clever, I suppose. But no, I don't feel clever. That's the point. Um, Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. No, don't always tell the truth. Like, telling the truth all the time is terrible advice. Like, don't lie, whatever. No, we need to lie. That's the thing. Like, be an honest person. Tell the truth when you can. Don't lie gratuitously or and for nefarious purposes. Only tell white lies, obviously. Like, don't be a malicious liar, but be a decent, conscientious and well-meaning liar if you're going to be a liar at all, which you will be because everyone is one. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Oh, well, okay, fine, that's good advice. Yeah. Don't pursue conveniences in life or like comforts or easy ways out of things. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Well, I guess no one can criticize the world then, because none of us will ever have our houses in perfect order. And like, do you mean our literal houses? Do you mean like literally tidying our rooms and all this sort of stuff, or do you mean like our own headspace and this sort of thing, and our lives in a more general sense, and our relationships, our social networks, and all this sort of thing? Is that what you're chatting about, Peterson? I don't know what you mean half the time. You say words. Because you're not being very clear or precise in your speech often as well. That's the other thing, like, yeah, hypocrisy, totally. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Well, hang on. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Could that include like being gay, for instance, though? Again, incredibly vague. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Well, who was I yesterday? Basically the same person I am today. I like who I am. I don't want to be someone different. Make friends. We're back to okay, right. I've said enough about this. Like, it's the advice in it. I don't know what I ended up taking away from it. I didn't read it all either. I read it. I read a few chapters of it. I read it like fleeting. I just want to pick up the sort of thing. Okay, this is. Yeah, he talks about all this Panzram stuff, Cain and Abel. It's all in his YouTube anyway. This is just his YouTube, kind of, yeah, shtick, kind of condensed into book form. This is a cash in book. There's nothing else can be said about it other than that, really. This book. And he's got like this self-authoring program online. The inevitable program to sort yourself out, authored by a psychologist. Oh, God, he's just a qualified Andrew Tate, isn't he? Basically, and that's TSL writing system back as way being so. And yeah, it's like it's intellectually well dressed up. Like got everything to Nietzsche, Dostoevsky, T.S. Eliot, and like all these like name drop type people. But actually quite a good analysis of Columbine as well, and the Columbine killers. And what chapter is that in? So set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Okay, I just want to go to the end of that chapter because that is somewhat slightly interesting. Delay gratification. Like every adult knows that we have to delay gratification. And what does delaying gratification look like? I'm doing it right now. I'm working. I'm gonna do this job. I think probably till the new year if I can. And just save up money. and like work, all forms of work is delayed gratification. I don't enjoy, well, while I'm doing it, I don't enjoy any form of work I do, including writing and stand-up comedy. I do enjoy stand-up comedy when it's going well. I do enjoy writing when it's going well. And frankly, I enjoy dairy farming when that's going well. So yeah, I do enjoy my work. But is it delayed gratification also? It's not actually. Then again, like maybe that means I'm a successful person. If I found work that I enjoy, yeah, maybe I'm a success. I'm not like direly in the throes of poverty either. I have enough money certainly to survive on, if not thrive on at the moment. Maybe I've succeeded. Maybe that is a possibility also, is it not? I have a day job that I love. I love being a dairy farmer, working on a dairy farm. I very much enjoy that. I have side pursuits that I love, writing, stand-up comedy, all the rest of it. And I still want to make those pay in the future. But yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I am successful. But then again, I get the feeling that Jordan Peterson might not be successful. Because he seems to always want something, doesn't he? Like yet more money. He likes money, this Peterson. And who doesn't like money? But then again, I mean, he's been through hell in a handbasket, as this poor old chicken Peterson as well. You know, there's anxiety and his hospitalizations and his adverse effects medication for psychiatric illnesses and getting hooked on what diazepam was it, or one of those, clonazepam, which I've been on as well. I've been on lorazepam even. I didn't get hooked on it because I'm a smoker, so I wouldn't get hooked on it. I think like smoking is a useful way of inoculating you against other addictions. It's just like it's become such a central addiction that everything else seems frankly fairly pitiful by comparison to it. I get the feeling that smokers are probably less likely to get addicted to cocaine, for instance. Because I've taken cocaine on a few occasions and I've never been addicted to it. And I think the reason for that is probably because I'm a smoker. But then again, I wouldn't take heroin because I think I probably would get addicted to it. Then why don't I take cocaine? I think it's because it's less potent addiction. But I'm rambling. It's a waste of paper. It's in the reason for that is because like 99% of this is YouTube channel. It's not worth the paper it's written on, and I paid 11 quid for it. Jesus, that's money I'll never see again. Like, and what am I going to be able to do? What, sell it? No, I would buy it. Books depreciate massively once you sell them. It's not a proud addition to my library, not really. But there we go. That's my review of There Will Be. I was about to say There Will Be Blood. Like, no, it's not There Will Be Blood. It's not the There Will Be Blood of self-help books either. It's a pretty shitty self-help book. Like, yeah. What a load of rubbish. Thank you for watching, bye.